Told you me and technical, sorry about that. Okay, so what I want you to do, we'll get you standing nice and tall to start with, feet hip distance apart. Sasha's great trick of 2 fists between your big toes always works for me. I always think my hips are bigger than they actually are. Second and third toe facing forward, okay? Knees and hips in line with the feet. It's quite easy, you know, without you realizing it, but get them in line. Soften the knees, so slightly bend the knees. Don't want any locked out knees, hips facing forward. Now just put your hands on your hips for me and just give a few tilts forwards and back. So pubic bone, so it's not arching out through the top of your back, it's literally just those hips. Now you're probably cold at the moment, so don't worry if you don't go too far. Okay, now take that halfway, and that's that neutral spine that we're looking for. Now, nice and long through the spine. What I mean by that is create a gap between the top of the hip and the bottom of your rib cage. So sometimes when I say extend out of your spine, people are lifting their shoulders up. You're creating a gap here, so nice and tall. Take those shoulders up, back and down. Now, ask you to do something really odd. I want you to relax in your abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor. Don't worry, you won't all be rushing to the loo. Now, just relax in this area. It's quite unusual for us ladies to do that. Let it all hang out this morning. Okay, hands on the top of your, bottom of your rib cage, just underneath your boobs. What I want you to do, so very often when we breathe in at the top of our chest and we're sucking in here. We're actually going to do the opposite. So relax those abdominal muscles, breathe in through the nose, push the air to the bottom of the rib cage, and I want you to push these hands away. So we're using these muscles, intercostal muscles, push them away. Now, what you should feel is your tummy should expand because your diaphragm's gone down, your muscles here are relaxed, and you should expand. Now, breathe out, and as you breathe out, you should feel it naturally retract. Right, let's do that again. Takes a while to get used to it. Breathing in through the nose, push the air to the bottom of the rib cage, expand that rib cage, should feel that tummy expand, and exhale. Okay, this time we're going to use it. What I'm doing it for is to recruit the correct muscles. So we're looking to connect with the core muscles, not the abdominals, those deep muscles underneath. Sorry, there's still people trying to get in. Okay, right, let's try it again. So breath in. Feel that tummy expand. This time, as you exhale, feel it naturally retract. Now draw it through your pelvic floor as if you're holding a weight. Don't snatch it, just very gently raise it up and relax. Okay, so sometimes when I'm saying to you engage your pelvic floor, just think about drawing up, but you must relax those muscles before you draw them up. Brilliant. Okay, let's get started and let's get warm. So again, feet hip distance apart, standing nice and tall, soften through those knees. We're going to take our weight around the world. So keep that body nice and tall and take your weight forward, side, like you've had a really good night out. Anybody remember those? So you're going round and round. So what you're going to be doing is connecting with your feet, switching your core on as well. Feet get really neglected. I know lots of my clients are always complaining about cramps. So we're really working into these feet. We're strengthening the feet. Not too many. Get really dizzy with these. Okay, now change direction. Hopefully everybody's got nice bare feet. Okay, last one. And back to the beginning. Okay, right, we're going to go into squats and heel raises. We're just going to warm up through the hips, knees and ankles. So I'll just turn around just to show you. Feet hip distance apart, standing nice and tall. So take a breath in, and as you breathe out, connect with that core. Take your weight back, head and chest forward into that squat as low as you can. Up to standing. Take your weight into your toes, raise your arms, and lift up. So in your own time, what I'm looking for is nice, slow, controlled movements. Feet and knees tracking over the feet, head and chest up, weight behind the heels, and then raising forward onto the toes. Now watch those ankles when you do this. If you struggle with this, you can always put your Pilates ball in between your ankles to keep them in line. So if your ankles start going out to the side, it's going to affect your knees. So nice flowing movement. Looks like everybody can hear me because everybody's nicely squatting. See if you can get a little bit lower with this squat. And do whatever's right for you with your arms. So we're actually warming up through the arms and the shoulders as well. Engaging the core. Got those glutes going, quads going, raising the heart rate a little bit. So it's just nice flowing, not really quick, but nice and smooth. Let's go. And let's go 2 more. And release. Okay. Brilliant. Right. Into curtsy lunges now. So this is just our prep phase. So you can do your arms however you like with this one. You can really go into some nice ballet moves if you like. So a few to warm up. So curtsies, taking the leg behind, squatting down, head and chest forward. And just to start with, we'll just go from one side to the other. So we're working into the hips. Those that have done ballet will have... well, they're looking really pretty from what I can see. Okay, one more each side, like this, and then we'll add on. Okay, so this time, if you want to, you can either stay like that, or you can go into your curtsy lunge, raise up, and to the other side. So you're shifting your weight, so you're really using that core, working into the hips. Not bothered what you do with your arms, just keep them moving, whatever feels comfortable with you. See how low you can go in that squat. If you've got any hip issues, you can just lunge backwards. I know some people do struggle. Okay, let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last one. Fantastic. So hopefully you feel a little bit warmer through those legs. We're going to work into the top half of the back now. So bow and arrow arms, standing nice and tall. Float those arms forward at chest height. Now be careful they're no higher. If you're working here, it changes the position of your shoulder blades. So drop them down just at chest height. Draw one elbow back. Take your gaze back towards that elbow. And then take it forward nice and long through the neck. Change sides. And just keep flowing. Do a few of these to start with. Warming up through the top half of your back. Squeezing that shoulder blade at the back. Okay, right. One more. Now, if you're feeling confident this morning, raise the leg, twist towards that leg, and then change sides. So, balance is what we're looking for all through Pilates moves. It's the most important thing, but get that alignment correct. So the hips should be level. Plant that foot firmly on the floor. If you're very wobbly, don't raise the knee quite so high. So we're using our abs. Should feel it a bit in your glutes. Nice bit of rotation as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release. Fantastic. Okay, top of your mats. We're going to come into roll down. So we're going to mobilize through the spine, stretch those hamstrings a little bit, and work through those hips. Check your alignment again before we start. I'm a bit of a nag about this. Second and third toes facing forward, feet hip distance apart, soften those knees, hips facing forward. Tilt those hips, find that neutral spine, which we'll go into a little bit more, that halfway point. Elongate through the spine, shoulders up, back and down, nice and long through the neck. Take a breath in, relax through the abdominals. And as you breathe out this time, raise that pelvic floor, engage the core, chin to chest, and we'll start the roll downs. Relax through the arms and the neck, and you're peeling off the spine, one vertebrae at a time. The weight of your hips is behind your heels. Keep these hips and knees level. And all the way into this forward fold. Okay, so the aim is to get your chest onto your thighs, onto your knees. If you've got big boobs, you've got an advantage. Now raise those tailbones up towards the ceiling. Relax through this neck. Feel that stretch in the hamstrings. Hold it there. Okay, now while you're down there, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, reconnect with that core to to stack the spine back up, coming to standing. That's important so you don't pull on your back. Relax through these arms. Head is the last thing to come up. So one vertebrae at a time, stack them on top of each other. Shoulders come up, back and down, and the head raises. And off we go again, breathing just to prepare. Exhale, draw up through this pelvic floor. Don't snatch it. Chin to chest, and off we go again. So we're mobilizing the spine, working the hamstrings, mobilizing through the hips as well. It's a brilliant move, this one. If you do this every day, really good. Breath in at the bottom, breathe out. Engage that core by raising the pelvic floor. Restack that spine. Reminder that head's the last thing to come up. So you should feel 2 inches taller after doing this. And we'll go again. This time we stay down, so breath in. Breathe out. Engage that core, so we're stabilizing the hips, we're protecting the spine, and all the way back down to the mat. So this time, so you get a little bit closer to the floor with your hands, and that chest onto those knees, raising that tailbone, getting this extra stretch here. Hold it there, relax through the neck, just let the weight of the head come forward. Okay, right. Now take a couple of steps out with your hand, keeping your hips as still as you can, not too far out, just into down dog. I'm just going to work through these hamstrings a little bit more. So what I want you to do here, always push through the hands, take your gaze back towards your knees. Now bend both knees, raising your heels off the floor, and then straighten the legs, don't lock them out, and taking the heels back towards the mat. Okay, 5 times this. Keep those knees in line with the feet, so don't let the knees come in. Push through these supporting hands. 3, you should get a good stretch through these hamstrings. Also working into the shoulders. 4, last one. And 5, brilliant. Okay, raise those heels off the floor. Now carry on walking out to plank position. If you struggle with plank, come onto your hands and knees or 3/4 plank. Take your shoulders over your wrists, drop your hips down. Now nice and long through the neck. Now we're going to do 3 sets of 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, take your weight back into puppy. So your bottom towards your heels. Hold it there. Just releasing off. And then back to plank. Nice and long through the neck. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to puppy, taking your weight back, keeping those shoulders level, so we've got some shoulder stability and hip stability going on here. And the last time, nice, slowly in control, come back into that plank. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now don't collapse, just both knees towards the mat. Fantastic. Okay, on all fours, let's check your alignment. So what we're after is shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, hands shoulder width apart, knees hip distance apart. So we're going to mobilize here by doing sad cat, happy cat. So as you breathe in, curl the spine towards the ceiling and drop the head. Think about curling the spine from the bottom, not just through the shoulders. And as you exhale, raise that head, still pushing through these hands, drop the chest towards the mat. Well, that should feel good. Okay, let's go again. Breathing in, curling the spine towards the ceiling. See if you can curl it a little bit more, push through these supporting hands. And now exhale, chest towards the mat, raise that head forwards and upwards. Let's go once more, curling up. And then into that happy cat. Push, don't sink through these shoulders, push through these hands. And then come back to a neutral back, so that's more a flat back, nice and long through the neck, and wag your tail. Shake that booty. Side to side, just wag the tail. And release. Okay, if you've got a ball, you can use it. If not, you can do this exercise without the ball. I'm just going to put top of the foot onto the ball. So we're going to do the side cat, happy cat with a leg extension as well. Don't worry if you haven't got one, you can do this without. Check your alignment before you start. So as we're breathing in, we're going to curl through the spine, bring the knee towards the chest, and then push the ball away and extend. Now don't cause constriction in the neck. Keep that neck nice and long. Take the gaze forwards and upwards, and then draw it in. Just 5 on each leg. Check your alignment so you're not leaning to one side. Keep that weight evenly distributed between the two hands. And extend that leg away. Keep the hips level facing towards the mat. So we're just working into this hip a little bit more. 3, 4, and 5. Change sides. So top of the foot onto the ball. Weight evenly distributed between the two hands. Draw that knee into the chest. Really curl through the spine, drop the head, taking the nose towards the knee, pushing the ball away, raising that head up without sinking through these shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one, and 5. Okay, right, ball to the side. We're going to use that again in a moment. We're just going to add on to that exercise we were just doing. So bird dog into crunches. So on all fours, take a breath in. As you breathe out, connecting with that core before you take opposite arm to leg away, slide them along the mat, and then raise up. So just do a couple of warm-up ones. Remember to push through the supporting hand and draw it back in, keeping those hips level. Take the gaze just in front of the fingertips. Breath in, breathe out. By stabilizing through the core, you're protecting spine, reach away and back in. Okay, and again, breath in, breathe out. Now this time, hold that position. And what we're going to do is crunch in. So you're bringing knees to elbows in and then away. So we're going to go 10 on each side. So crunch them in, elbows to knee and reach away. Check that you don't sit back. You'll take your weight back towards the bent leg. Still share that weight between that hand and the foot that's on the floor. Take the time to connect with your body and find out what's happening. Are you leaning? Are you wobbling? Remember to push through the supporting hand. Do as many as you can do. If you need to take a rest, that's okay. And set yourself up again. We're looking for 10 on each side. If in doubt, do 2 more. And when you're ready, change sides. So we're working into the glute. We're working in the back line as well. So we're really strengthening through the back. We're mobilizing through the shoulder and the hip. We're stabilizing through the hips and the shoulders, which is so important. Make sure you do exactly the same on each side. Otherwise you'll be lopsided all day. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Fantastic. Right, just go for a nice stretch. If you've got a ball, you can do it for threading the needle. If you don't, do not worry. Now, I have, some of you know, I've got spinal fusion, so sometimes twisting I find quite difficult. So you can either do threading the needle on all fours, or you can extend one leg behind. So I'm extending the leg behind. I'm using the ball. So I'm opening out towards my bent leg, reach up. Now don't take it so far back that you can't see the ball. You should still be able to see the ball. Shoulders over the wrist. Take the ball to the floor. Top of the hand on the ball, push it through. And take your gaze underneath this bent arm. So really rotate through the top half of your spine. So as I say, you can do this on all fours or extend one leg behind. And when you're ready, let's go 3 on each side. With the ball, you can go a little bit further than you normally would. You've obviously got to stabilise the ball as well, so it's helping. Last one. See if you can go a little bit further with that rotation. And back to all fours when you're ready, and change sides. Set yourselves up to start. Make sure that shoulder's over that wrist. Open up. Make sure you can still see the ball or your fingers. Scoop it through. Top the hand on the ball. Pushing the ball through this bent arm. It's a great way to mobilise through the top of the spine. We're going for 3 of these each side. See if you can reach up to the ceiling a little bit more. All of that strengthening that shoulder girdle. I think we're on the last one now. Okay, and relax. Ball to the side for a moment. So what we're going to do now, we're going to come and we're going to work into the side movements. We're going to stay on all fours and we're going to rotate into side plank. Let's go through it for those that haven't done it before. You can do full plank into side plank if you want, but I'm not sure of everybody's levels today. But this is a good place to start. So on all fours, nice and long through the neck. You're going to rotate to the side and reach up towards the ceiling. Now, as an add-on, you can raise this top leg and but what I want is slow and controlled. I want you to connect with your body and see what's happening. Imagine you're between 2 panes of glass when you're on the side. Reach, don't take that arm too far back. You should wiggle your fingers, you should be able to see it. Lift this top leg if you can. And nice and slow and controlled. Keep flowing with that movement. If you want to, you can do full plank and do rotations. Actually, this is a flipping good move as it is. Still push through these, whatever you do, don't sink through these shoulders. Stay connected through the shoulders. Raising that leg up. Everything we do in Pilates is about flow. So it's you connecting with your body and working in a really fluid movement, not a jerky movement. So we're going for 4 more. 4. If you haven't tried raising that leg, try it. 3. 2. And also you should feel that into your glutes as well. We're using the core as we're rotating and moving from position to position. And release. Fantastic. Okay, come and sit into mermaid. Now, if you've got any knee issues, sit with your feet in front. If you've got hip issues, you might want to extend one leg away. If you're okay everywhere, front leg parallel with your mat. Sitting nice and tall, get your sitting bones onto the mat. Now, if you can't and you're raising a hip, you can always put a cushion underneath your bottom and just practice this one. If you've got your ball close to you, we'll use the ball. Sitting nice and tall, hands on top of the ball, but you can do it without the ball. We're going into a mermaid stretch. So we're going to work through the hips, the shoulders, and into the shoulder stretch. So push the ball away, hand comes up and over, now reach away. Now, if you've got hip issues, as I say, or get any cramp in your hip, extend this leg away. Really reach, and then draw the ball. Push your weight onto the ball and draw it back in. Back to sitting bones back down. And up and over again. See if you can go a little bit further this time. Push that ball away, and then push the ball down so you stay connected with that arm. Last time. Nice and tall. Think about lifting this underneath waist as well, so you're not sinking through it. And back up to your sitting bones. Okay, take your ball, put it towards your front knee, rotate your shoulders towards the ball and 2 hands on the ball. Now push the ball away, taking your weight over that front leg and drop your head down. So take your weight forward. You should feel it deep into that glute. Push your hands onto the ball and bring it back in so you're staying connected. And again, go 3 here. Push it away, force the ball down, reach away, drop the head. Oh, it's a shame we haven't got any sound. I normally have some squeals. It's usually Emma that squeals at this point. And again, reaching forward and drawing it back in, sitting back onto those sitting bones. And let's change sides. Just a reminder, front leg parallel with the mat, knees at 90 degrees. You might find it's easier one side than the other. I find this side harder to get my sitting bones down, but persevering. Sitting nice and tall here. Hand to the side, ball on the hand, reaching up and over, reaching away. Raise this bottom waist. Hand on the ball, push that ball down so you're connected. Back to the sitting position, sitting bones down, up and over. Imagine you're between two panes of glass. Feel your core working here as well. Last one, up and over, getting a really good stretch through that hip. Really good if you're runners. And back to sitting. Okay, ball in front of the knee. Rotate the shoulders towards the ball. Hands on the ball, push it away, take your weight forward, drop that head. Push down on the ball, draw it back in so you're connected with your arms. Let's go again. We'll go 3 here. Push that ball away, reach a little bit further, feel that deep stretch into the glute. Back to sitting bones last time. Push it back. Push the ball down, and we're back. Brilliant. Okay, come on to your knees. We're doing quite a few stretches today, probably more than I normally do, but as we're just coming back, and I know you guys have been super busy with everything else, so it won't hurt anybody. You can either do this with the ball, or you can do this without the ball. And just do it without the ball, actually. Take your hands to the side of your head. Now open out through your hips here. So push that pubic bone forward, not through the lower back. So you're not arching through your back, hands here, right. Bring those elbows together at the front and then open them out. Now drop the shoulder blades down. So it's not here, take your shoulders down away from your ears and let's just slowly opening and closing. Don't push on that neck. So many of us have been sitting at desks. This is something that we really need. We could do this in between working. Let's go a couple more. Keep going with this one. Right. And last one. And then keep those elbows really wide. Now we're going to rotate towards one side, keeping those elbows wide. You might not go too far. Don't pull on the neck. Back to the center and round to the other side. Let's go one more each side, nice and long through this neck. So we're really mobilizing into the spine today. Last side. And back to the center. Okay. What we're going to do, take one leg out to the side, float those arms out, and we're going to slowly hold, make sure you've got this core switched on, just touching down to the floor, as if you're between two panes of the glass, and then come back up. Let's go again. Let's do a couple more of those. So we're working into the obliques, might feel it into your hip as well. Last one. And release. Let's change sides. So you've got your hip over your knee, extend that leg away. I've actually got my knee facing the ceiling, arms out to the side. If you want to, remind yourself to draw in, breath in, and as you breathe out, connect with that core, so you're really protecting the back. Slower, stronger when you're doing anything like this. 2. Let's go 2 more. And the last one. Okay, back to the original side. And we're going to do the same thing again, so lower down, hand onto the floor this time, drop your hip and come onto the mat. So come right down to the mat, take your bottom arm across your chest Now, if you've got any shoulder issues here, be careful with this one. And what I would say to you is now put your top hand on the floor. So what we're doing is side press ups. You can extend this top leg away if you want to. If you've got a real problem in your shoulders, what I would say to you is just take the weight out of your body so you don't have to come all the way up. So even if you're pressing and you just feel like you're taking the weight out and you're using the shoulder, that's enough for you. We're looking for 10 on each side if you can. If you can hover off the floor and not come all the way down. And the reason we do these, nice, try and relax through the neck. The reason I do these instead of just the press ups is very often people are favouring one side. So this really gets you connected with each arm, each shoulder, and you can see your weaker side. They're not always very pleasant, these actually. If you can't get off the mat, do not worry. Just get into the position and push through that hand. I've lost count. 3, 2. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. And 1, and release. Okay, let's change sides. Same thing. So you either have your knees at 90 degrees, your hips are stacked, this bottom arm comes across your chest, try and relax through the neck, hand in front. I like to extend that top leg, it's absolutely fine, whatever you fancy doing, and we're going for 10 on each side here. Once again, if you don't come off the mat, do not worry. You're really working into that shoulder girdle, into that rotator cuff as well, just into these arms. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Well done, everybody. Switch to your other side. We're just going to work into some clamps. Now, you can use your ball for this if you like. And the reason this is very useful is put it under your rib cage. What I'm looking for is good alignment through the spine. So sometimes if you come up onto your elbow, people, can you see this curvature? And they forget to raise through this underneath waist. So you can actually put your ball underneath the rib cage. It doesn't make it any easier, don't worry. Stack those hips, stack the knees. That means one on top of each other. Very often people are rolling back. Imagine there's a piece of string on this top hip and you're pulling it forwards, okay? Nice and long through the neck, open out through the chest, raise 2 feet off the floor, and we're just going to open and close. We're going for 10 each side. If you open too wide, you'll roll back. So keep the movement a little bit smaller. If you're struggling with it, just reduce the range of movement. So we're working into the hip. You will feel it into the glutes. Still stay connected through the shoulder, so it's not as if you're lying on the beach. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, release. Shame I haven't got time for any more of those. I've got some other things I want to do. So switch round to the other side. Set yourselves up properly again. So those hips are stacked, knees are stacked. You want to put your head into your hands, whatever's comfortable for you. Raise 2 feet off the floor. Hip forward and go for 10 this side. Remember not to sink through this underneath waist, not to sink into the shoulders. If you're very wobbly, put your hands at the front just to stabilise you. Three, 2, and 1. Okay, knees together. Take that ball if you've got it, roll onto your back, put your ball between your knees, and lie onto your back. And just give your body a check. Have you got shoulders level on the mat? Same with the hips. Plant those feet firmly on the mat. Now put your hands onto your tummy, put your thumbs underneath your tummy button and your fingers towards your pubic bone. We're just going to do some clocks here. So imagine this is the clock face, 12 o'clock tummy button, and 6 o'clock pubic bone. I've got imaginary marble. I'm just going to roll the marble from 12 to 6. Just working into this lower spine. Relax through the neck and shoulders. Okay, right. Now, balance that marble in the middle. This is what's called neutral spine. You should have a gap between your back and the mat. Now take the marble from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So you're raising your hip up, you're raising the cheek off the mat. You might be a little bit stiff in this area, but it will improve. Okay, right. Take it back, balanced in the middle, back to neutral spine. Now let's roll the marble all the way around the clock face. So roll it to 12 and then take it all the way around the clock face. So you do some nice hip circles. This is definitely one to practice in your own time. Now take it in the opposite direction. Sometimes they feel like you're doing squares and not circles until you've really got this area mobilized. Fantastic. Okay, now come to rest, come into that neutral spine position. Float your arms above your chest. Now take them above your head. But only take them as far as you can without raising through the chest. So drop this chest down. So if they're off the floor, that's absolutely fine. What we're going to do, we're going to come into shoulder bridge, and at the same time the arms are coming up and over. So plant those feet firmly. The reason we've got the board is to keep your knees in line. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, tip that pelvis towards 12 o'clock, squeeze the glutes, push through the heels, raise the hips up, and at the same time the arms are coming up and over towards the mat, and push the hands into the floor, raise those hips up. Okay, then slowly, spine's coming back to the mat and the arms are coming up and over the head. So again, we're looking for a nice fluid movement. Breath in and breathe out, tipping that pelvis to start, peeling the spine off the mat, squeezing the glutes, raising the hips, arms up and over, push them into the mat. Now if you get any pressure in your neck, you're raising your chest, drop your chest, and then lower all the way down. So concentrate on your body and what's happening. Are you favouring one side more than the other in terms of your knees or your hips? If you want to, put your hands on your hips when they're at the top of the move just to check their level. And just keep this going. So you're really mobilising again through that spine. We're strengthening the glutes. We're strengthening the back line. Mobilising through these hips. We're utilising the arms by pressing into the mat. Let's go 2 more. And the last one, so you get those glutes squeezing a bit more, get those hips higher. Your knees, hips and shoulders should be in line. Slowly, spine back to the mat. Your bottom should be the last thing on the floor. And relax. Okay, take the ball out, take it to the side, and hug those knees into your chest. Get a nice ball. If you want to, bring your nose towards your knees and really make a really tight ball. Now extend the arms and legs away into a full body stretch and really reach away. Elongate through that spine, create some space between the shoulder joints and hip joints. That should feel really good having a big stretch. And release. Now bring those knees back up towards your bottom. Plant your feet firmly on the ground. Float the arms above the chest. Now what we're going to do is take 2 knees to one side and arms in the opposite direction. So breathe in, and as you breathe out, connect to that core, so protecting the spine. So 2 arms one way and legs going in the opposite direction. Take your gaze towards your fingers. Now use that core to bring the knees up and over so you're not pulling on the back, and over to the other side. So we're having a good stretch, nice bit of mobilization through the top and bottom half of the back into the hips. So just take that from one side to the other. Nice and long through the neck. Shoulder blades remain on the floor. Hips don't as the knees go from one side to the other. Okay, 1 more each side. Reach away with those fingers. And then back to the center. Okay, right, so what we're going to do now is extend one leg away, hug the other knee into your chest, open out through the hip flexor on the straight leg. I do this quite often, I have to say it's one of my favourites, so please excuse me. Opposite hand onto your knee, extend the other hand along the mat, take this bent knee up and over your body, keeping your shoulders on the mat and your gaze towards the ceiling. Now hold it there, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, see if you can get that knee a little bit closer to the mat. Gaze towards the ceiling. Now both hips back towards the mat, open out this bent knee. So you're making a sign of 4, open up through these hips and just hold it there for a moment. Extend that bent leg away, bring the other knee towards your chest, and to start with, hug it in. Stretching through this hip flexor, both shoulders are on the mat, nice and long through the neck. Opposite hand to knee, other hand out to the side, take this bent knee up and over your body, shoulders remain on the mat. Great mobilization through the bottom half of your spine. Now take a breath in, and as you breathe out, relax and take that knee closer to the floor. Very slowly, back to the mat, 2 hips on the mat. Open out through the hips, drop this bent knee towards the floor so you're making a sign of 4, and just hold it there. Extend those legs away. Very slowly roll onto your side. Push yourselves up to sitting. Now can you sit cross-legged, but can you sit on your awkward side, so not the side you'd normally sit on. Sitting bones onto the mat. Drop those knees down and we're sitting nice and tall. Okay, just take a hand to the side. Reach up to the ceiling. See how far you can grow. Over. Down towards the floor. So you're taking your weight forward, all the way around the front. To the other side. Open out and up to sitting. Okay, once more over to the side. Reach up and over, so if you're fitting 2 panes of glass, take your weight forward, hover it round, really feel that into your glutes. Over to the side, sitting nice and tall. Okay, right, nice and long through the neck, just rotate the head over one shoulder, back to the centre, over to the other shoulder. Think about your posture when you're sitting in any position here, so it's really nice and long through the spine. Once more each side. And back to the centre. And we're done, everybody. So well done. Sorry we didn't interact today, but it was lovely to see so many faces. And let's hope Facebook Live works. Okay, I'll see you all next week.